The whistleblower complaint surrounding a phone call between President Trump and the Ukrainian president back in July, and the administration's refusal to turn over that complaint to Congress, that's sending shockwaves through Washington and has many asking, what's the next step? And that brings us to our weekly segment, Cross-Exam, with CNN legal analyst and former federal and state prosecutor Ellie Honig. He is here to answer your questions about legal news. Ellie, always great to have you with us. We've got a number of different subjects to attack today. Up first, this whistleblower complaint. And one viewer is asking, does the House Intelligence Committee have a legal right to see the whistleblower complaint about Trump?
Yeah, Alex, lots of viewer questions about this week. So the law is straightforward here. If the Inspector General receives a complaint and determines that it is one, urgent, and two, credible, then the law says he shall submit that complaint to Congress. Shall submit is straightforward. There is no wiggle room. But the Director of National Intelligence this week consulted with the Department of Justice and concluded that that law actually does not apply to the president. So yet again, we see William Barr's DOJ acting as a rubber stamp, coming out wherever best serves the president. Big picture here, Alex, what we have is a clash between the branches. We have a showdown between the executive and the legislative branch. They're likely to end up in that third branch, the judiciary, to resolve it. The stakes here could not be higher. If this proves out, if Donald Trump used hundreds of millions of dollars in aid to try to pressure Ukraine to investigate a political opponent, we could have federal crimes in play. We could have bribery, extortion, foreign election aid, and we could have an unprecedented abuse of power by the president.
Yeah, Adam Schiff, the Intel Committee, already threatening to take them to court. Let's switch to the Judiciary Committee. This week we saw Corey Lewandowski testify on Capitol Hill. Very fiery, very testy. One viewer is asking, can Congress do anything to force Lewandowski to answer the questions that he refused to answer in that hearing?
Corey Lewandowski, the world's angriest broken record. The White House has directed me not to respond.
Right,
the White House has
right. So, even though he never worked for them.
Right. Congress has three enforcement options here. None of them are great. Congress theoretically has its own enforcement power, but that has essentially disappeared from not being used over years. They don't have a police force that can go out and make an arrest. No, there is not currently a jail cell in the Capitol grounds. They can also, second, refer the case over to Department of Justice for criminal prosecution. Bill Barr is sitting there. I think we know that's going nowhere. And third, they can make a civil complaint. They can go into the courts. That's the most likely outcome. However, that's going to take months. House Democrats have really set up a strategic paradox here. On the one hand, they get very damaging testimony from Lewandowski about obstruction. On the other hand, it is just not making a dent on impeachment, and I think that's because of the House Democrats' own indecision.
The questions about impeachment often referring to the president. Now there are questions of impeachment referring to Justice Brett Kavanaugh of the Supreme Court. Some 20 Democratic candidates renewing their calls for his impeachment. So we have a viewer asking, is this possible? Could he be impeached? Is it realistic?
It's possible, yes. It's not realistic, though. Yes, federal judges can be impeached. 15 have been impeached through our history. As recently as 2010, a federal judge was impeached and convicted and removed. But if you do the math here, look, the House Democrats could impeach Brett Kavanaugh tomorrow if they want. All they need is a majority. But the Senate, you need two-thirds. Right. A year ago when Kavanaugh was confirmed, he got 50 votes for confirmation. 19 of those would need to flip over to vote in favor of conviction removal. That's not going to happen. I did think it was notable that when this all happened, Donald Trump tweeted that the Department of Justice should come to Kavanaugh's rescue. I just want to say,
right,
as a DOJ alum, that is absolutely not what DOJ is about.
They are the people's lawyer, not the president's lawyer.
Absolutely.
All these excellent viewer questions. What are your big legal questions for the week?
So where do House Dems go next on their impeachment inquiry? Are they going to commit to some real, tangible action, or are they going to continue to spin in circles? Number two, will President Trump and Mitch McConnell come to some sort of agreement on gun legislation? They've both said they're willing to consider it, but they've sort of pointed at each other and passed the buck back and forth. And third, will Congress and the administration go to the courts over this whistleblower complaint? We're going to have hearings this week. There is a lot more to come on this huge story.
Another busy week. You will be all over it.
You know it.
We know. Ellie Honig, thanks so much.
Former NFL player Antonio Brown unleashing on social media, saying that he is done with the league. This morning, Brown tweeted he will not be playing in the NFL anymore. These owners can cancel deals, do whatever they want at any time. The Patriots cut Brown on Friday amid multiple allegations of sexual assault and sexual harassment. Brown denies all of those allegations, and he hasn't been charged with any crimes. Important to note. CNN correspondent Nick Valencia joins me now, and he's also ripping his former quarterback and the Patriots owner, and he's got quite a list going.
He's arguably the best receiver in the NFL, and after this series of tweets, this tirade that he went on Sunday, it says he doesn't want to play with the NFL at all anymore. He had a series of tweets, as I mentioned, some of them that have since been deleted. Here, I want to bring up those tweets on the screen to show you here. He's implying that there's a double standard in how he has been treated versus how others who've been accused of sexual assault or misconduct have been treated. He says here, 4 games for Big Ben, referencing his old quarterback Ben Roethlisberger with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Crazy world, I'm done with it, linking to a story of his past allegations of sexual assault. And then in this tweet, he seems to post a photo of him with one of his accusers, Brittany Taylor, longtime friend and former trainer, where he says, Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, got caught in the parlor. AB speculations fired, different strokes, different folks. Clearly, we should point out that Robert Kraft has pleaded not guilty to misdemeanor charges of soliciting a prostitute, but clearly implying here that there's a double standard. As you mentioned, Martin, he's been accused of sexual misconduct, rape by one woman. No criminal charges have been filed. A federal civil lawsuit. Brown has denied all these allegations. Is this a tantrum or is this the real thing?
Yeah.
That's the league to decide, and clearly the league fans to decide as well.